Memory books are very valuable items for dementia residents and dementia units, especially for being able to connect with friends and family, and as importantly, to connect with oneself. With memory gone, present memory gone, and past memory often gone, dementia residents can refer to and look at the memory book and get context of the history of their life, when they were born, who their parents are, who their siblings are, their marriage, their children, their career. Everything can come into a storybook, memory book context of their life. And when they have that in place for them to refer to as often as they need to, as often as they wish, with the memory book in their room, then it will enable them to more likely stabilize in the present moment. If they know their history, then they can come into the present moment and realize who they are, what they've been through, what they've done, and the context of their friends and family and relations in this world. So putting together a memory book is a big task, but it's well worth the effort on many levels actually, because also the carer in a dementia unit, the carer of the dementia resident can look at the book. Also actually, the laundry girls, the cleaners, the staff that come in daily to help the dementia resident with all the cares. And of course the nurses and the charge nurses and the activity coordinator. With the staff in the dementia unit having access to the book and being able to see what it is that the person has done throughout their life, it enables them to understand them, to see them from a perspective that they maybe wouldn't have done, especially if the person is aphasic and has difficulty speaking. Then the memory book can speak on behalf of the person and give a realistic context of their life, so that then the medical staff, the carers especially, who spend most time with the dementia resident and every day with the cares, can ask questions about, their family and their wife and their children. And if the dementia resident is unable to answer, then the carer can look through the book, get the answer, and include the dementia resident in with the answer so that they can be refreshed and reminded of the details of their life and bring it into context in a whole. So it's very important. And also another thing is that when a carer understands the past and the history and the personality and the character, the achievements of a dementia resident, their view of them will change. Rather than just a person that can't speak, who's disabled with poor memory, if they know they've been an architect with a great life, or a farmer, who's loved animals and been on the farm all their life, as has their whole family, then they can talk to them about the farm and the weather and the sheep and the cattle, and maybe they've lived on a farm or they know of someone else that's been on a farm. And so discussion through the cares can happen in context with that person's life, because the carer can spend a good half hour with that dementia resident each morning with the cares, showering, dressing, hair washing. So it's nice to be able to discuss something while they're doing that. And if they've got the memory book open at a certain page, they can, refer the dementia resident to that to look at and spend a couple of minutes on it. And then when they have the cares, the carer can discuss about it and chat about it. And it's very good for cognition and bringing back past memories and context for the dementia resident. It lifts mood, it buoys mood. If you're feeling a bit depressed and flat and down and totally disorientated, not being able to remember your life or give context to it, if the carer opens the page of your memory book and shows you a picture of you on the farm, maybe on a horse, and those memories can well come back, because strong memories tend to come back faster and better than weak memories. So if you were a strong horse rider, you loved horse riding, you also went into competitions for horse riding, then that's likely to come back, especially if it's reminded to you by looking at the photo and also the carer bringing it into conversation. So this is the way that these memory books are so invaluable. Another thing, of course, is the front page of the memory book has a good photo of yourself and your name and your date of birth and your age, and that way you connect that this book is about your life and your history. So it really is such a wonderful reminder for people to be able to connect in with their life. Big photos, one photo a page. It's good not to have a photo on the page. If the photo's on the right hand side, have a blank page on the left hand side, because that will enable the resident to concentrate and focus and not be distracted and disorientated with too much on the two sheets. Thick paper so that they can turn it easily. Make sure it's in a safe place, or maybe having a second copy somewhere with the originals and this being the photocopy, just in case it gets lost or misplaced or something like that. So these very valuable items can also be used for other dementia residents to get to know the person. So if the activities coordinator has read the book, she's familiar with it, she brings it to the workshop for the whole group or the dementia residents for a particular activity of introducing people to the group, introducing new dementia residents to the group, then your workbook, your memory book can do the task of talking for you. Because if your speech is difficult, then the activities coordinator can hold up the book and all your photos and speak to it, because underneath each photo can be a caption, just a small explanation of what the photo's about, time, place and people. And so that can be read out to the dementia residents, and the book can be passed around the group, and the dementia residents get to know who you are, which is very important, because dementia residents do like to know about the other people, about each and every one of them. They like to know what you've done and where you've been and where you've travelled and who your family are, how many children you've got, all these details they like to know. And if you've forgotten them, or if you can't speak clearly to be able to explain the situation, then the book does it for you. That special, precious book. These memory books really can do a lot, and they're a great activity for the person just to sit in their room in their nice chair in a sunny spot, looking out over the garden, hopefully, or the mountains, or whatever they like, with reflecting through their life. What a lovely experience for them. Otherwise, if they didn't have that, it can just be a blank and a blur. So these memory books play a huge part in being able to bring context, orientation, happiness, good mood, life, energy, and interest from others. Others can take an interest in this memory book then. They can't. It's very difficult for people to take an interest in you if you're not speaking and they don't know your history. But if they can read the memory book, see the memory book and know your history, then they will take an interest in you. And it's good for engaging, and you can communicate, and they'll respect you and like you because of understanding the memories. They can then connect with you and create a relationship. So in that way, the memory book really is essential so that it can relate to other people on behalf of you. Building relationships, building context, building reference points. Okay, so these are the two books I've written, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon and on my website description below. So thank you, all of you, for your interests and your likes and your comments, and please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.